They are arguing that OIC has no locus standi or any rights in matters strictly internal to India. Oh really? Are you that same India? When you supported Emmanuel Macron in his Islamophobia, did you have any rights in the internal affairs of France at that time? I seek all of your strong and unequivocal support for Kashmir. I also demand that India cancels the issuance of domicile certificates to non-Kashmirians as well as other autonomous and illegitimate actions there. I ask India to get rid of this hilarious action to deploy more than 500,000 forces in Kashmir, home to 12 billion people, making it one of the most militarized zones in the world. Are you kidding me? This is not humanity. This is not any common sense of reason or logic. What it is a pure essence of fascism. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Today, I am raising my voice with annoyance and anger, with irritation and frustration, when I see that India has rejected the resolution about the Kashmir issue recently passed down by the OIC, and also the second largest organization after the United Nations, gathering in the West African country of Niger. India is shamefully declining and denying the resolution of OIC today. According to the Ministry of External Affairs of India, they are arguing that OIC has no locus standi or any rights in matters strictly internal to India. Oh really? Are you that same India? When you supported Emmanuel Macron in his Islamophobia, did you have any rights in the internal affairs of France at that time? What are we observing today? We have woefully experienced that Kashmir has been under siege and constant attack by the Indian army for many decades. Sadly, this situation has intensified over the last few years. If we look closely, what do we see? We see the rise of a fascist ideology. An ideology that is Pharaonic in its essence. An ideology that separates people based on their race and religion, just as Pharaoh did. Allah says in Surah Al-Qasas in verse number 4, إِنَّ فِرْعَوْنَ عَلَى فِي الْأَرْضِ وَجَعَلَ أَهْلَهَا شِيَعًا, which means that he divided his own people into various races. يَسْتَضْعِفُ طَائِفَةً مِّنْهُمْ. One group will be always killed, always massacred, and the other group would be considered the dominant as the supreme. Pharaoh separated his own people based on their skin color, based upon their origin. And this is exactly what we are seeing in the land of India today, a land that has so much Muslim history in it. And we now see a new strand of intolerance and bigotry, an element of philosophy and dogma that is preaching the purity of one race over another. This is not humanity. This is not any common sense of reason or logic. What it is a pure essence of fascism. We observe with great sorrow that India is following the same methodology that inspires and simulates Nazism. And we know that this ideology manifested multiple movements across this globe, including the time in the Second World War. And I want everyone to be aware of that, because it is terrifying to see that this is on the rise. Present government of India has nourished and flourished Hindutva, which is a radicalized Hinduism, just as ISIS has radicalized Islam. This ideology considers India as a land of one nation, a group of only one religion. The same strand has assassinated Gandhi back when Gandhi was being viewed as a paragon of peace. But they portrayed Gandhi as a betrayer, a traitor, even though he was not even a Muslim. I would like to ask India, in a very clear and strong voice, to refrain from altering the demographic structure of India-administrated Kashmir, which is an integral and inalienable land of Muslims that India has illegally and unilaterally annexed in August 2019. I seek all of your strong and unequivocal support for Kashmir. I also demand that India cancels the issuance of domicile certificates to non-Kashmirians as well as other autonomous and illegitimate actions there. I ask India to get rid of this hilarious action to deploy more than 500,000 forces in Kashmir, home to 12 billion people, making it one of the most militarized zones in the world. Are you kidding me? Rather than dismissing the international community's concerns as reflected in the OIC resolution, I call India to pay heed and stop its state terrorism in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The OIC resolution is the ultimate proof that India can neither hide its gross and systemic violations of human rights of the Kashmiri people and the denial of their absolute right to self-determination, nor can it escape the international censure of its shocking behavior. And lastly, to the Muslim Ummah, I would like to pray to Almighty Allah for the relief of the Muslims of Kashmir. And lastly, to the Muslim Ummah, I would like to pray to Allah Almighty for the relief of Muslims of Kashmir from the oppression of the tyrant government of India. Thank you and Assalamu Alaikum.